So once you start fermenting, I hope you guys get as hooked as I am. So I've got my sauerkraut. This one's been in for probably about a week. I wrote it down somewhere, or maybe I didn't. I didn't write it down. I think it's only been a week, but I tasted it this morning. It's absolutely delicious. I'm going to give it a few more days to get it really sour because that's what I like. But this, look how gorgeous that color is. That came from a purple cabbage, a red cabbage, which is really cool. So today we're going to actually be mixing green and purple because this is what I have. So I went to the farmer's market on Sunday, as I always do, and I picked up 2 organic cabbages. Now it's extremely important to get organic because if you're not getting organic, then the food you have has pesticides and herbicides on it, which are gonna kill the bacteria, which you want. We are cultivating bacteria, right? We are growing bacteria. We are bacteria farmers, right? Look at us. So if you're killing bacteria, see where we have a problem? It's not gonna be great. Okay, step 1. We're gonna pull off the kind of outer leaf. It's got some bruising. It's just kind of wilty. It's been in my fridge for a couple days. That one looks fine, and I'm gonna take this outer leaf off. And you can actually save this for later. We're gonna come back to this. Then you're gonna need a vessel of some sorts. I just got another big jar. A ferment ended in this one, so I'm gonna use it again. And I think this time I am gonna use a lid, or I will just use a cloth. I think I have another cloth. As we have before, you're gonna want, because this one is a smaller, like piece ferment, you're gonna want maybe an empty jar. This one might be this one might be okay. But this jar is gonna come in handy later to hold our bits down. And then you're gonna need your salt. As a reminder, you're gonna want sea salt. You want it to be as unrefined as possible. So no iodized salt, because iodine is what they use to put on wounds so that you don't get bacteria. Again, we are cultivating life. We are cultivating the bacteria. No iodized salt here. Sea salt as natural as possible. Measuring spoons and a knife. Okay, so there are a couple ways to do this. I'm going to teach you the way that works the most consistently for me, and I have the fewest number of failures. So we are going to cut off that knobby end, and again, put this in a pile because you might want to use that later, and I'll kind of explain why. I'm going to get up a little bit here. Okay, and we're going to just do big rough cuts. Now, I do cook with my daughter. She is 3. We don't hand her knives quite yet, but I do encourage parents to, if your child is old enough, to supervise them with these kinds of cooking and you know, including everyone in the process. I think is super, super valuable. So a lot of sauerkrauts out there are like really thin stringed. It doesn't matter. We're not going to really deal with that. Just rough cut it into like smallish pieces. If you've got a really long piece, just break it up. And just like all the other ones, we're going to pack it in there. So I'm going to cut it up so this video doesn't get a million years long and show you when it's all done. Okay, I have put all the pieces in, and look, I made a cute little pattern. Aww. Okay, next you're gonna need some warm water, and then you're gonna get your tablespoon out, remember? Oh, it's the thing that says TBSP, tablespoon, the biggest one you got, right? You're gonna get your salt, and we're gonna do 2 of these. So I'm using, I have no idea how big this is. My best guess is this is about the same size as the other jars I've been using, which is 1.5 liters. It looks like the same and vaguely remember them holding it. This isn't an exact science, which is kind of interesting. So you kind of can't really go wrong. So just do your best. If you've got a jar about that same size as I do, if you're going to do a little jar, then about half this recipe, so 2. And I want to stir it for a little bit, see if we can dissolve any of the salt in the water. All right, and then pour it over. So I did not leave a ton of headroom. Remember that word? And I'm going to need a little bit more water, but I'll do that later. So I didn't leave a ton of headroom, which is that space at the top, because I was just feeling so excited about this, all you guys. So what I'm going to do is take those old pieces, and I'm going to use them actually to weigh down my other pieces. Now, these will mold, but that is okay. Anything underneath the brine will not mold, because the Lactobacillus acidophilus bacteria, we remember that crazy word, huh? 10 points if you can say that. The Lactobacillus, hey, actually, next time you see me in the hallway, tell me if you can say Lactobacillus acidophilus, and maybe I'll give you a high five, like a socially distanced one or something. Anyways, the Lactobacillus acidophilus is kind of like a nice bully in that it doesn't let anyone play with it, but it protects us. So what I mean by that is if any other little bacterias or molds try and get in, it's like, no, this is my house, get out. And it kicks them out. So the stuff on top that is exposed to the air will mold, but other stuff under the brine, remember that watery, salty, will not mold. So I am going to push this, see what I can do, and then I might add some more water after. But these are kind of heavy, these like chunky pieces. I'm not really gonna put those in because they're not gonna ferment nicely. Ooh, beautifully done. But I'm gonna put these pieces in, kind of cover it up and make sure the brine is on top. We'll give you guys a cool bird's eye view of this in just a second. And then it turns out, because I was so excited and I didn't leave a lot of headroom, I won't need this jar. But I also show you my current ferment of sauerkraut and how I do use a jar to hold the brine down. Then I'm gonna put a cloth over this, a little rubber band, and I'm gonna let it sit for at least 5 days. Taste it. If you are the kind of person who doesn't like your ferments very sour, 5 to 7 days might be perfect. If you want them kind of wild, 7 to 14 days, right? And then when you're done, when you're like, oh no, this is perfect, you can pop it in the fridge and it'll last you for months. So this is a lot of sauerkraut. My other jar is a lot of sauerkraut. I'm hoping to let it last for a long time. I'm hoping to eat it all, and I'm hoping to share it too. So if you become slightly addicted to fermenting like I am, then share it with people you know and love. All right, here I'm gonna give you the bird's eye views of these. Let me know if you're gonna make this. I love hearing how some of you have been making the other ferments. It makes me so happy. And remember, if you see me, tell me about Lactobacillus acidophilus. All right, you guys, have fun. This is exposed to the air, but there's no other, minus that little guy, but there's no other little pieces showing. This is covering all the, remember this will probably mold, but the stuff underneath it is just perfectly fine. Now over here, oh my gosh, really try not to spill that. Okay, so we've got this jar. I filled it with water and it's holding down. This blue stuff is just from the water will turn blue first from the purple cabbage, and then it goes to this beautiful reddish pink color. But this is just holding it down into the brine. Now, you will get, you see these little bits of white? That white is totally fine. It's just the like little collections of the lactobacillus. If it turns black, that's bad. You don't want to keep that. You want to dispose of it all. If it's a green, just pull the green out and it's fine. Like a green, blue mold, you're gonna be fine. White, you're definitely fine. Just gonna pull those little bits out and just keep fermenting. Those are just where it has been exposed to the air. Again, if it turns black, you don't want to keep it and you want to dispose of it completely.